And as this light gets bigger and brighter around the planet, and the trees and the birds and the winds and the ocean and the people all begin to sense something is happening, keep it going. We send love to our ancestors, both known or unknown, to our descendants, both born or unborn, to our spirit guides, perceived or not yet perceived, and to people and beings in every dimension, known or unknown, in every timeline, known or unknown. We wish you peace, because peace is what we believe in. So at the count of 3, I'm going to start off the Om. You can join me, match the note as best as you can. You don't have to yell it, but don't mumble it. Do this for you. Let the sound resonate through you. Your presence is valuable here, now, for you and for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll start off the Om, and after that, you can open your eyes, and I'll say goodbye, and they will say hello. Here we go. Hello. There will be many unpleasant things that do not feel good, that will happen. It doesn't mean they are wrong. You have a moral code. You say, well, it is morally wrong. There are many things that are morally wrong here now that were not morally wrong before. And maybe you thought it was better before. These are things you create. If you do not understand where your feelings come from, you are not going to find peace. You're just going to keep doing the then and when. When that happens, then I will be this. When I have money, then I can be generous. When I have enough love, then I can give it out more. That how you want to live? All the time waiting? How many of those whens have happened? Notice you have a lot of waiting going on. Then you had your pandemic. Best thing ever happened to you. Best thing ever happened to the planet. It was the only time where every single human being on Earth had to deal with the same thing. Never in human history has that happened. Everybody had to consider it. And if that's what it takes to bring understanding of oneness more together, oh yeah, you say, yeah, that happens and we had to come together. Not at all. You did not come together. You pick sides. But that is part of the process. Every side believed they were right, based on evidence they believed, correct or not? That is the truth. They believe this, they have their evidence. They believe their evidence is wrong. They believe their evidence is wrong. And they will go almost to the death of whose evidence is right. So what do? You want the truth. The vibration inside of you is the only reality that exists. Because you have been very sad in the midst of a celebration. There could be a party going on. You were not celebrating. You felt bad. It was not your environment. The environment was very happy. It is also possible you were around a lot of people who were very angry and sad, but you were not. So what is your vibration? What is your self-mastery? Is it a skill? You know how to do this one thing or another thing? That is not self-mastery. Self-mastery is that you create how you feel. Sometimes you lose somebody, they die, and you have no more belief in God. The next person lose somebody who died, and that is their proof of God. If you think we're talking about perspective, you're getting lame. These very boring words. Oh yeah, perspective shift. You know what is the most boring word in the world? Interesting. How would you like? You did something you were very proud of. Hey, how was I? It was interesting. Interesting in what way? Oh, the food was tasty. Is that good or bad? Had a lot of taste. That person has good taste. What does that mean? That means you like what they like. You're never going to say they have good taste if you don't like what they like. Again, all the time. So there is no such thing as good taste. None of you have good taste. You have your own taste. You will never say another person has good taste if you don't like their music or the food or anything. You will say they don't know what they're talking about. Your entire existence, everything you do, is about energy and frequency and more of everything. All of you want more. You have always wanted more. Even when you wanted less, you wanted more. You give away everything you own. It is because you want less of that and more of something else. You say, I don't want anything. You want things the way they are. Yeah, I'm fine with the way they are. You want more of that? Of course you do. And why do you want more? Because you're always wanting to create. You cannot avoid creation. You are creation. It is the thing you value the most on the planet is creation. How do you know? Because what do you call your God? The thinker, the beer, the seer, the doer? No, you call her the creator. Because that is what you value the most. When you're not creating, that is when you feel dead. When you're creating things that you say, I don't like how that is reflecting back to me, you're still alive, you're just frustrated, but you're creating, it is clear. And creation is messy. Don't worry about it. Just like love, it is messy. If you walk into a great artist's studio, a painter, let us say, and you walk in and there's garbage everywhere, half-eaten food, strange smells, a total mess. But if you walk through it and you see an easel with a painting in progress, you will forgive the mess. But if there is no painting to be found anywhere in the studio, you will say, what is wrong with this person? This is now just a mess. As long as you are working on something. What does creating mean? Just a painting? Well, you all started out as artists. You put the crayon on the walls of your parents' house, or you drew. You were not judging what you drew. You wanted to create so bad you danced without music. Now you dance without music, they will say you are crazy. Now you take a crayon, put it on the wall, they say something wrong with you. If you started to get the giggles at a funeral, they will think you're just having a breakdown. But what if the person who died is psychically communicating to you and say, hey, look at my body there, I'm doing fine. Do you doubt it could happen? And what if that was happening and you started to laugh at the funeral? Most likely they will either think you are crazy or they'll think you are disrespectful. But if you roll on the floor screaming and crying, that is acceptable. What do people do when they cry? Why? What are they ashamed of? Somebody crying walking down the street alone, he will not really bat an eyelash. If somebody is laughing hysterically, alone walking down the street, you will think either they're on some kind of drug or something wrong with them. The maniac was laughing hysterically alone. Easy to understand that. The maniac was crying, sobbing alone. Why are they calling it a maniac? That is normal to cry and sob. But laughing, that would be a maniac. And yet Buddha is laughing. You see the statues of him, big belly out, laughing. What is he laughing about? Why don't you ask yourself that? He's slapping his forehead at the big cosmic joke. Not that the world is a joke, because you chose to be here. This is what you call a focused reality. In about, 6-7 hours, you will be focused in another reality called the dream time. And you will believe that is very real. How many times have you woken up from a dream and say, cannot believe that was a dream? Lots of times? Yes or no? Not once, not twice, not 10, probably hundreds of times you have had the feeling of, I cannot believe that was a dream. That is how real it is. And you're intelligent people. You cannot even stop it. It is going to happen again tonight, no matter what you do. In a very, very, very small percentage of the time, you realize it is a dream during. Very, very small. So the dream time. You might say when you die, you step into another reality. And it will be just as real as this. You barely know if you are even dead right now. You never thought about that. You believe 100%. This is life. Something will happen. I will die, go to the other side. What is the other side? What if it is like this, where people sit in a circle and do channeling and listen to wisdom, insights, perspectives? Yeah, that makes sense. So how do you know this is not the other side? Oh, because it sucks. The world is hard out there. Cannot possibly be the other side. You think the other side is more important than where you are now focused? Why? Why would you think that? Because you have been getting tested and tired. You see, your traumas, they are your training. Look at it. You ask a great person, what made you become that? They will usually tell you there was a trauma. You read any superhero story, always a trauma. How did they become this hero? Oh, parents died, this happened, best friend, this, that. They died, some electricity went through them. Your superhero stories are about this. Why? Because they are revealing a truth. So your traumas are the training. And what you create from them is going to make all the difference. And that is why these two words, reaction and creation, they are the same letters. Spell them out in your mind. And yet they are totally different. When you stay in the reaction of anything that has ever happened, outside of you, inside of you, and you stay in the reaction and not the creation. What did we say earlier? When you're not creating, that is when you feel dead. So when you stay in the reaction, that is when you're repeatedly killing yourself, and probably some other people slowly too who have been around you. So what are you going to do? If you want to move forward from that place, you cannot do it by saying, to hell with the past. You know how people do New Year's Eve? Hopefully this year will be better. To hell with this year. Oh yeah? Which year are you talking about? You're talking about God's year? Is that the year you're referring to? You have decided it was a bad year. A bad day. Why don't you stop saying you had a bad day? Why don't you say it was been a powerful day, an impactful day, a soulful day? Why a bad day? And you say you believe in God. What God? The God from your religion? There is another God, by the way. It is the underlying current, that nagging something that exists underneath your consciousness from morning to night. That is your actual God, because that is what is informing how you feel, and that is what every cell in your body is listening to. Not your poker face, not your smiling face, but the vibration underneath. You know it. You can taste a piece of food. You say, it is sweet, but something inside here, I think the eggs were rotten. I taste the sugar and the honey. Yeah, that is good, but something in here is just not right. How do you identify what your earthly God is? You have to be very, very surrendered, not judging yourself. Get yourself into that state of mind in a meditation and say, what is my general feeling from morning to night under the surface? For some, worry is their God. For some, being annoyed is their God. For some, numbness is their God. Yeah, even numbness is the God. They don't react to nothing. Nothing. Everything has to impress them. You're not impressed? Why? Why are you not impressed all the time? You know, people who come out of comas, they are very impressed. You stand over a person who has been in a coma for 6 months, they are going to look at your face as the most beautiful face of God they have ever seen when they wake up. They don't mind the hospital room. They will taste the bland hospital food, and they will be fine with it. You want to feel more enlightened? Start liking more things. Because there's a lot of disliking going on from morning to night. Why don't you do that kind of little exercise with yourself? Take a notebook or type into your phones. The moment you wake up, type in what is wrong or could be better or is not good at all. It will probably be filled. Hopefully you will get tired of yourself by a few hours. It is good to check yourself in this way. That is how you shift it. That is how you have self-mastery, because you don't even have to get up from where you were sitting when you actually have self-reflection. Your entire world and reality is colored by your beliefs. If you think it is good, you feel good. If you think it is bad, you feel bad. When you have already been through the complexities of life, there have been people that you did not like at first that became your best friends. And the reverse has been true. Many things happened that were very exciting, then not so good anymore. And the reverse has been true. Many situations have happened that at the time you said, I cannot believe this couldn't happen. And we say, if you did not make the connection, consider it protection. As you surrender to these kinds of understandings and realizations, a few things are going to happen. First is you're going to lose most of your friends. You haven't experienced that before? When you started to expand, notice that people drop off. It will even happen if you come into a lot of money. Energy changes. And people will drop off who cannot be in the frequency. You're not better than them, you're not worse than them. It is a matter of understanding the mechanics of energy frequency. Anytime you stray from this basic understanding of reality creation, you may run into some trouble because you're going to start to go right back into right and wrong, good and bad, they did this, they did that, why am I here? All of these things will keep popping up. Instead of, Earth is a school, I am constantly seeing new things. Now, how do you see new things? When everything is the same all the time. All right, we give you an example. Let us say you grew up in this yoga studio. You could never leave this room. You had enough food brought to you, all of those things are taken care of. You say, I cannot make this room new. Yes, you could. Shrink yourself down to this big. The entire room will change, will it not? Instead of the height that you are, become like this. Imagine what the speaker would look like to you now. Imagine what the gong would look like, what the plant would look like to you. When you become more sensitive, vulnerable, when you become more tiny. The great ones that you admire, in their powerful energy, they are extremely sensitive. Your favorite artists, your favorite creators, very sensitive. That is why they're able to create what they create and get their rise out of you. So you actually have to be more sensitive than you are now. But it needs to be directed. It has to become kind of high-tech sensitivity. Right now you're sensitive to danger. Mostly things that are wrong. When you empath, it is mostly when you feel things are wrong. Why not when you feel things are great? Plenty of joyous hands contributed to the clothes you are wearing right now. If you are empathic, why don't you feel that? What about all the families that were fed by the floor that was made that you are comfortably or solidly sitting on right now? How many people did it take to make everything in this room? They all got paid for it, fed their families. There was no positive energy in that. You're surrounded by it. Probably 1 billion. What about the people that built the roads? What are you feeling with your sensitivity? As you develop your sensitivity, you're going to feel some of that negative stuff first, but you have to move through it. Because you do believe in healing. You do believe in the things we're talking about here. You understand that oneness, unity, all of these things. That is what your whole pandemic was about. To move energy, to get people talking. Get you to appreciate being inside your house, get you to appreciate being outside of your house. Look at your educational system again. Your so-called educational system. It is a memorization institute. They tell you, remember this, we will ask you on the test, you pass it, that is it. How are you learning? It is very easy to prove to you. Here's an exercise for you. You can do it later at home or you can do it right now in your mind. Take a piece of paper and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These will represent the grades that you did. Now, next to each number, write 5 things that you learned, specific things that you learned in each grade. Good luck. So apparently the memorization didn't even work. And that is why the educational system needed to be turned around. And it will. That was the first shake. More is going to happen. Because everything must come back to oneness. When your health is healed, the body is one again. When relationships are healed, one again. Everywhere. In fact, the word all one, you turned it to alone. It used to be all one, now it is alone. Next time you feel alone, and you drop in with yourself and think about some of these teachings, you can be all one rather than alone. You can be all one together. How you think the planet is going to be while you are here? Planet is not going to last forever. Why would it? You think it is meant to be here 10 billion more years? Why? It is just a part that you created. You guys created the planet. Consciousness. It is a dimension. And you all are eternal. You will continue. All the animals, all the energies that created everything here, and there are much more. Does not mean you don't care for it. Care for it. But Buddha slapping his head is because he understands the joke. What was the joke? He was laughing because he spent so much of his life not realizing that everything, including himself, is eternal. Because he was so caught up in his life in survival. He was a warrior. He killed people too. So he was caught up in survival and wealth as a prince. But he wanted more. By having less, he wanted more. Sometimes you want more to have more. Again, energy. And you're going to remove the drama from your system this way. Soulfulness is not drama. Drama is drama. And that is what you can do. Now you have a solstice. As the cosmic bodies are shifting and moving into their pattern, their paths, the spheres are moving. It is the music of the spheres, of the planets, of the source, of the sun, that comes into a stronger position for you, coming closer with its healing rays. And you have that. As you go into the intuitive, emotional power of the Cancer sign, Cancerians, then you go into the proud heart and strength of the Leo lion energy, and then to go into the healing goddess of the harvest of the Virgo. Your ancestors knew all this. And that is why their days were not too fast nor too slow. They were present. And that is the gift, is it not? Maybe that is why they call it a present. They give you a gift, you feel more present, you feel joyful. English is a very magical language. A lot of people don't think so. It is really the most magical language because it is very simple. Anybody can learn it. And it has very magical things that happen, like the word creation and the word reaction. Like the word listen and the word silent. You want to be able to listen, you must be silent. Same letters. You want to feel all that is sacred, but you are scared. Same letters, sacred and scared. There had to be some language that everybody was going to kind of join in and find some kind of middle ground with all these people on the planet. Oh, but a lot of people had to die. Yeah, a lot of people had to die for you to live too. So now what? You're going to make the past wrong? Work with what you have. That is what the solstice can do for you. The heat and the fire of the sun, the warmth, the energy, the cosmic rays coming into you, into your skin, warming the planet. Be in your natural selves again. Eat the foods that are in season for your season. There's a wisdom behind all of this coming out of the ground at a certain time for you. Simplify the way that you eat. No matter what kind of diet you like, just simplify it. You don't need so much data in your body. Don't complicate. The body understands a kind of simplicity. Bless you. We're going to give messages now to some people here. I will come around to you guys. I will ask you your name, you tell me, then I talk to you a little bit. All right? I drink water for Riz because I borrow his car. I have to make sure it is filled up when we come back.